When you think of Serbia and the former Greater Yugoslavia in general, do you think of kind of charming small towns like Central European, Western European, old towns with the city centers with cafes and, churches, town halls, kind of old European architecture? Probably not. Well, I shouldn't speak for everyone, but probably know what I'm getting at. Normally, you search Serbia on, whatever, Google or even YouTube, Instagram. What are you going to get? You're going to get probably the brutalist socialist architecture from the Yugoslav days. Um, but today, checking out Novi Sad in the north of the country. So much different from Belgrade. I mean, part of Belgrade is kind of like that, Zemun, but kind of Novi Sad, the center as a whole, is supposed to be really nice to check out. So let's go. At the Novi Beograd train station, taking a day trip up to Novi Sad. The train's only about 30 minutes, so really quick. It's the fastest one of the day. Most of the other ones are about 45 minutes to an hour, but still pretty quick. Got a little color yesterday. Forgot to wear sunscreen, didn't forget today, so we'll see. But yeah, there's like no cashiers. Kind of hard to figure out where to go. There's like 2 ticket machines on one platform, so let's do it. Open up the right one. On the train now, and fortunately or unfortunately, one of the newer, nicer, fancier trains. So it's not one of the old, super graffitied, dirty, loud ones. It is probably a much nicer ride, but kind of wanted to ride on the old Tito era trains. But that's life. So a little odd, even though we bought tickets to Novi Sad and they checked the tickets there, and on Google it said this train went all the way to Novi Sad. It said it had one stop at Petrovaradin, which is a suburb of Novi Sad. It just stopped and said it was the final station, and everyone got off. A few other people were asking about Novi Sad, and then they were told to catch a bus. But I mean, there's a couple spots I want to see in Petrovaradin anyway, so I'll just do that. But just be aware, if you want to take the fast train from Novi Sad, or from Belgrade to Novi Sad, it doesn't make it all the way. And there's the bus that everyone hopped on, but I'm gonna keep walking. There's a fort here in Petrovaradin I want to see, so just getting my steps in. Walking around downtown Petrovaradin, maybe you can see it's a lot of construction going on. As I'm walking to Novi Sad in Petrovaradin. Novi Sad is the second largest city in Serbia, 1.4. Oh no, the whole region of Vojvodina has 1.4 million inhabitants. It's about a quarter of the country in terms of geography, in terms of size. Vojvodina is an autonomous republic, so there's a bit of a different feel from the rest of, well, from Belgrade, definitely. And Novi Sad's the capital. It's pretty strong economically. It has a strong agricultural sector, and over the last 20 years there's been investment, a lot of IT investment, and some other multinational companies as well investing in the area. So yeah, hopefully we'll get there soon. Gonna walk into Petrovaradin Fortress first, which overlooks Novi Sad. But should be cool. I've seen from pictures and videos, the Novi Sad looks like a really beautiful town. It was spared the fighting in the 90s, faced some influence of refugees and migrants from the wars, and then also some Croats fled as well during some of the ethnic violence that was going on in the country as a whole. So, but kind of because of that, Novi Sad was not destroyed. So we'll see how that's reflected in the city compared to Belgrade. So there's part of the fort there. We'll be able to go up higher. So here's the Danube. That's Novi Sad. So we'll get to go in there as well. Haven't really found an entrance yet. But found a tunnel. So maybe this goes up into the fort. Yeah. Okay, there's a hotel, a couple restaurants. There's some tourists up there. We just took the more interesting route, I guess. Oh, there's a nightclub here too. Seems like a pretty popular area. There's a bunch of hotels, some restaurants. Pretty nice looking hotels too. So there's always been a fort on this part of the Danube since the Romans. 1st century BC built part of a fort along the Danube on the limestone banks here. Then years later the Ottomans built a fort. It was destroyed when the Austrians took it in the 1600s. Then they started building on what is now the current fort in the late 1600s, and it has stood since then. And then in the early 1700s, as the Ottomans were making another push into Europe, there actually was quite an important battle here in 1716. 75,000 Austrians defeated 150,000 Turks at the Battle of, at Petrovaradin here. And it was the last attempt to push into Europe by the Ottomans. So a big turning point in European history here that I didn't even know about till I came. So yeah, and then a little point of clarification, I said 1.4, actually 1.7 million in Vojvodina, and in Novi Sad itself, 325,000 in the urban area, 368,000 kind of in the administrative area, so that's probably including Petrovaradin and some of these suburbs out there. So yeah, if you're in the area, it's a cool area to check out. Nice little walk overlooking the Danube. Oh, and this is referred to as the Gibraltar of the Danube. So, don't know what to do with that info, so I thought I'd give it to you. Church here in Petrovaradin. It's noon, so lots of bell tolls. Now walking down in Petrovaradin, about to cross the bridge, maybe you can see, into Novi Sad. Walking across the Danube. There's the fort. I was just there. Crossing over into Novi Sad. So just walked out of some construction right into the old town city center. Very beautiful. Very nice area. And nice cafes in the road. Very beautiful. Check it out. We got some influencers influencing here. I would never. Maybe. I don't know. There is the Novi Sad synagogue, built at the beginning of the 20th century, 1909. Leading up to the Second World War, Novi Sad had a population of about 80,000 people, 4,000 Jews, and during the Holocaust, this synagogue was used to basically, when they rounded up Jews, they would bring them here to detain them and then send them off to the camps. So out of a pre-war population of 4,000, 3,000 were killed, about 1,000 survived. After that, just over the next few decades, many of them went to Israel, and also following the wars in the 90s, many left as well then. So now there's only a few hundred Jews left in Novi Sad, and the synagogue is used as a like cultural and events center. So yeah, you can see here from this building on April 26, 1944, Novi Sad Jews were deported to the extermination camps. And here are some names of people who were killed fighting, Jews who died fighting against the Nazis. And so now the synagogue is kind of needed in some repairs and used as a event center. I already said that. Very nice inside. There's a security guard. Just go around the side and he'll open it up. Hotel poopin'. So here in Novi Sad also, there's Dukajski Park. Nice little pond, little green area. Walk around, sit. Yeah, you know, just take a load off. Just enjoy Novi Sad. When you think of Serbia, former Yugoslavia, probably these type apartment buildings. So Novi Sad is a pleasant surprise with its charming old town. Here in Novi Sad in November 2024, there was a new roof built here. It collapsed in November and it killed 16 people, and after that there were riots and protests in Novi Sad and across the country, and this is why the train station is still closed. I guess I never put the two and two together. That's on me, I forgot, but Google still shows the station is open. So yeah, unfortunately didn't know that, so now I gotta try to take the bus back to where we were dropped off, where I was dropped off at earlier, Petrovaradin. So let's go try to find a bus. back on one of the old boy trams. It's the green one. So far only the red. I want to ride the green. There it goes. The green monster. My steed. Okay, back in the room. Well, it was quite an experience figuring out how to get back. Because I was in the center, ate, and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna take the train back. And I hadn't quite figured out yet why the train that I bought the ticket to go to Novi Sad dropped me off before, and then trying to get back, I could see I could buy a ticket from Novi Sad back to Belgrade. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go to the train station then. But I get there and I see lots of stuff closed off, of course, and then I talked about the collapse of the train station. Can't believe, like, well, that I didn't put two and two together. I remember when it happened, and I remember it kind of sparked a bunch of protests and riots across the country. But yeah, I completely spaced on it until I went there and I saw the memorial, and then started asking around, how do I get back to Petrovaradin? And there's like an information desk, because the train station was completely closed off. Like, it looked like it hadn't been touched since it had first collapse. I mean, there was still broken glass everywhere. It was all fenced off and like police taped off. So I went to there's like an information desk there, because there was a full working bus station right there. I thought, okay, maybe there's a bus here goes to Petrovaradin, to the bus station, because there was a bus that picked people up from the train earlier. But like I said, I want to check out the Petrovaradin fortress, so I went and did that. She didn't really speak English, but Google Translate helped us out, and she was like, yeah, 2 intersections back. So I go a couple intersections back, go to a bus station or bus stop, ask a couple people, and then one of them says, no, you want, like, still, it was a big intersection, kind of pointed diagonally across a different bus stop. So I went there, and I saw other people, like, with suitcases. So asked them if they were going to Petrovaradin train station. They were, and it's the number 3 bus. So if for whatever reason you're visiting Novi Sad, the bus that goes kind of to and from the Novi Sad center to the Petrovaradin bus state or train station is going to be the number 3 bus. There's other buses that might go around near Petrovaradin, but the number 3 is the one you're going to want. Okay, so in that time, Google failed me, because every time I tried to Google, like, how to get to the Petrovaradin train station, it literally just told me to catch the train from Novi Sad to Petrovaradin, but I couldn't. So if you're considering going to Novi Sad, just make sure you double check if the train station is actually open yet, because nothing's been done there. It's still closed. Overall, though, Novi Sad's really cool. Really enjoyed checking it out. I absolutely recommend it. Really quick train ride from Belgrade. Also, if you're coming from Budapest like I did, it's a good midway point. On my bus, a bunch of people got off. There were a few the guy sitting next to me was a backpacker. He got off. So looks like there's some fun pubs, some good restaurants, good bars. So definitely a good stop for a night or two as a backpacker. And you can take the bus, take the train in between the cities. Taking the train and the bus is pretty cheap, pretty straightforward. I mean, my ticket to one way was about around $8-9, maybe not even $9, like $8, like 700-800 dinar. So pretty cheap to get around, and the trains were modern. I got some pictures, some video of some of the really old trains that are still being used. Really dirty, really loud, really screechy. So I can't recommend Novi Sad enough. Maybe just go for a day or two. You don't need to plan a whole lot of time. But it's cool. It's cool to walk around, some good food, and just like a nice, charming city to check out. So, yeah. Back to Belgrade. Let's do it.